Mic check 1 2. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? If anyone can hear me, let me know how long you guys were able to hear us for. But just in case, I think I had to set up the microphone again. So, ladies and gentlemen, today is November
Every single
21,
time.
2022. Bitch, shut up. Today is November 21, 2022. And this is the Evan Studios Almost Weekly Podcast. I am your host, Stark, and with me I have my co-host, Isaac.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. It's 5 p.m., dude.
God damn it, dude.
Yo, whatever. You want us to talk a bit louder? Wait, let me try to increase the volume a little bit. Yeah, guys. You guys are gonna have to help us set up the shit correctly, because we had to get a new computer for work, and we had to.
Oh yeah, this is the first podcast since you have the new computer, right?
Yep, this is the first.
Oh,
Yes.
I see all the problems that can arise from that.
So basically, there's a lot to talk about, and yeah. First things first, we had to get a new computer because the other one wasn't being cooperative, so to speak. I have a few things that I want to talk about today, and I want to try and address all of them, and we'll see. So let's start with first things first. Most people are going to ask, when is the Shota patch coming out? And the answer is when it's ready. It's always when it's ready. Yeah. And Morgan instantly said, "This is a part you say thank you very much for your patience. The patch is up now. Have fun." Sadly, that's not gonna be a thing. I'll explain why. There's a lot of good news in this podcast, and there's a lot of bad news in this podcast. So first and foremost, I want to say that one of the biggest reasons why the patch is not out, and one of the biggest reasons why we haven't been so communicative later and whatnot, is because of mostly health issues. But I don't want to talk about it anymore. Basically, a lot of people in the team are going through a lot of stuff right now. Some of them are like really big, and some of them are like, kind of not as big. For instance, Isaac and I got food poisoning last week from vegan sushi. It was very crappy, but it's the type of shit that happens. But
Really?
I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't wanna talk about it anymore. There's just stuff going on, but I want to focus on the good first, and then I'm gonna focus on the bad and try to explain what we're going through right now and what's like. There's different levels of bad shit going on. Let's focus first on the good stuff. So first and foremost, the biggest news that we have in terms of like good news is that we finally have apparently fixed the issues with fleeting RZF. So basically, we're now using a new system, and we have tried it on many computers. We've had a lot of different people trying it, and we finally came up with a system that should allow everyone to play fleeting RZF. That means that all the side scenes and the bestiality patch and whatnot. For those that didn't know, we had 3 different systems. One that had a different executable, one that had one script, and another one that had another script. And every time someone could not play like the main version, we will send them alternative versions. We will try to troubleshoot with them, and basically, I really don't want to go through all this again, but Fleeting RZF was a project that we created to test the limits of RPG Maker VXAs. When first we started making Fleeting Iris, the plan was to create 5 different games in the same universe, in the same world map, and just use the maps and whatnot. And it was clear throughout the development of Fleeting Iris that we wouldn't be able to create the future games in Fleeting Iris. Still, in a last attempt to make everything work and not lose all the work we have put into creating Evan City and all the scripts and whatnot, we decided to create the Fleeting RZF project. which will serve two purposes. The first purpose will be to see how far we could go with RPG Maker VX Ace, and the second reason will be to create a project in which we could release stuff that wasn't permitted on Patreon and we could not ship with the original game. And the bestiality patch was a perfect time to start, and eventually we knew we would have to create the Shota patch. And so we decided last year to create Fleeting RZF, and we released the bestiality patch. And at first we thought we had no issues, but we had a lot of issues. The fact that Enterbrain doesn't allow you to edit the DLLs and doesn't let you edit a lot of the files in their program, which is to some extent understandable, creates a lot of limitations for everyone on RPG Maker VX Ace. So there's only so much you can do through scripts. The problem with scripts is that you are artificially enhancing the width and the height of the screen, so basically the resolution of the game, but you don't make it adaptable depending on who's playing on what computer and whatnot. And the first issue was we were trying to make the game like 1920 by 1080 or whatever it was, and as soon as we put it on Isaac's computer, the game will just, because he has like a 15-inch screen on his laptop, it will just instantly go out the edges. So there was the first thing that we had to deal with was there were clear limitations to how big we could make the game. And we thought that was the only limitation, so we decided to go with 960 by 736, which is native. And as we decided the resolution, which we thought, okay, this is bigger than 640 by 480, which is the maximum we can generally add in VX Ace. It's at least 50% bigger, which is not saying a lot, but it's bigger.
In terms of total area, it's more like twice, 3 times as big.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, you're saying diagonal. In terms of like how much room, yeah.
Yes.
But it's not 3 times as big, but it's not just 50% bigger.
Maybe close.
But yeah, it's considerably bigger, and one of the biggest issues with Fleeting Aries is how small the images were. And for those that have been following us, you've known the issues that we have had to deal with throughout the years. The first big issue was the saves issue. I don't know if most of you remember that, but we had a problem where saves will get corrupted and people wouldn't be able to save game, and after a few months we finally found a fix for that when we got a new scripter, which is funny because at the time we basically went on the RPG Maker forums. We were offering a lot of money for people to be able to solve the problem, and most of the known and renowned guys in the community, no one was able to fix it until our new scripter, new that is not new anymore. He's been with us for like 2 years, but until our current scripter was able to fix it. And for Fleeting RZF, we came with that situation. We were like, okay, so we can only make the screen this big, but it's the problem is solved. And then we release it, and a lot of people just will crash, will get a black screen. And then we came up with another script, and the script would also solve the problem for other people, but there were still a very small amount of people having issues, and people could only play with some limitations, like you cannot use programs that enhance the size of the screen, you cannot use programs that indirectly mess with your resolution, yada 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 yada. So basically, it will solve some problems, cause another problems, and then we decided to make a third version, which we were like, okay, we can edit the DLL, let's edit the executable. We made another version, and the problem with that version is that it will work, but it will cause more problems. So we didn't even ship that one. But finally, we have a version, and this is the good news. We have a version that apparently everyone can use. We finally have a system.
At least so far.
At least so far. Everyone that tried it worked. We have finally a version of Fleeting RZF for RPG Maker VX Ace, where we can use whatever resolution we want, and everyone will be able to play it. No one will get bugs. There will be no conflicts with resolution problems, resolution programs you have in your computer. You will be able to use all resolution enhancers that you want. You will be able to F5 in full screen the program, and more importantly, you will be able to use Magpie with it. So finally, and for all, hopefully, we have a version of Fleeting RZF that everyone will be able to play without bugs. That's not the only good point about it. Basically, we the idea is to run RPG Maker through a third party program, but people won't even be able to notice it, and we're going to ship it with the RTP. So basically, it's going to be download, extract, and play. No one will have to download the RTP. No one will have to go and ask questions like, I get this error, I don't have all the assets, whatever. Why can't I play this? It's going to be super simple. Download, extract, play, and we might even switch our Fleeting Iris, our regular Fleeting Iris to it. Now, that's not all the good news. The thing is, the program that we're using also has a Mac version, so apparently it also works as a Mac emulator, so to speak. Or so people in Linux will. We are not promising anything because we don't have Linux to test it. We are going to create a version, and possibly people on Mac will be able to play Fleeting Iris and Fleeting Iris EF as well. So those are the massive big news. We finally ditched all the issues. We won't have to like troubleshoot a lot of Fleeting Iris EF problems. Hopefully the play process, it's going to be super smooth from now on. It's just download, extract, and play. And yeah, it will also possibly be playable on Mac. With that being said, because we cannot hear like a round of applause in the back, we're going to continue to the next topic at hand, which is Fleeting Iris. Now, Isaac has solved a bunch of Fleeting Iris bugs since 1.12f, so we are going to release Fleeting Iris 1.13f, and we're going to test it with the new season, and we're going to try and release it. So we're going to release it this week. Fleeting Iris 1.13f will come out this week with a bunch of bug fixes. It will mostly be bug fixes. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Fleeting Iris. Fleeting Iris is going to be on the shelf for quite a while. And hopefully we will never release another version of Fleeting Iris on RPG Maker again, on RPG Maker VX8 again. There are immediate like every time I try to fix Fleeting Iris, this happens all the time. Every time I try to fix Fleeting Iris, and every time I play the game and I look at the game, there's just so much that I look at and I feel like, oh my god, I will never have done this nowadays. Like, I know that Fleeting Iris started 8 years ago and it's supposed to be really good and whatever, but I look at it and it feels just amateur. Like, Fleeting Iris just in general just feels very amateur compared to the knowledge that we have today. So that's why we decided that if we ever release Fleeting Iris DLCs, like future DLCs, most likely we will make it on RPG Maker MV. Right now, as we work on the Shota patch and as we work on Journey Abroad, and once we drop the Shota patch and we start working on Bloodlust, we will, on our free time, try to make a remaster of Fleeting Iris on RPG Maker MV. Now, it won't be a 1-1 port from VX8 to MV. Honestly, we can't, because we don't even have the same assets in terms of tile sets and whatnot. And the scripts will have to be remade, but it will be mostly 1-1. The point is, we are going to remake a lot of the maps, but the game is going to be drastically different. The menus are going to look different. The point is, for the remaster, that we can make it on MV. And the reason we want to so badly switch to MV is because, first of all, even though VX8 is outdated, MV just has a lot of benefits. Even though, in terms of tile sets and in terms of available assets, it never actually caught up to VX8. VX8 just had a ridiculous amount of assets made for it.
Because VX8 was the newest version of RPG Maker for much longer than MV was. MV was replaced like really fast.
MV was replaced in like 2 years or something, 2 or 3 years.
That and now the newest version, which is like MZ or something.
It's already being replaced by
yeah,
Unity.
it's already being replaced.
By Unity.
Those two systems lived shorter than VX6.
Yeah,
those two
combined,
together.
Yeah.
So yeah, they don't have the same amount of assets as VX6.
When did MV come out? Like 2018, something like that.
I think it was a bit sooner, like 16, 17 maybe.
Okay, then it's not that long because I remember RPG Maker VX6 came out December 2012.
2012?
Yes, I'm 100% sure. RPG Maker VX6 came out December 2012. So RPG Maker, you're saying that RPG Maker was out for like 4 or 5 years at most? I don't buy that, but sure, let's say 4 or 5 years. Yeah, it's about the same time as MV and MZ combined.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
maybe. Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah,
but the main reason why we want to switch to MV or Unite or whatever we have to switch to is the resolutions have improved so much that I can barely see on my new screen, because I had to get a new screen because my old screen was pretty much just burning. Every time I turned on the computer, I would have to wait like an hour for my screen to eat up. So basically I had to get rid of my old screen. So I got a Samsung Odyssey G9, and this it's a screen with a resolution of 5810 by whatever, and the pixels are so small I can barely see whatever I'm doing in RPG Maker VX8. It's so bad I had to get another screen just for the Shota patch. I had to get another screen. I had to buy like a $200 screen, an ASA screen, so that I can set next to this screen. So when I'm working on the tile scenes and I'm working on the maps and whatnot, I can
actually see.
I can actually see it.
Yes.
I have to drag it to that screen to be able to see it. It's that bad. But it's not just that. It's not just the resolution, because we've been especially now that we have that we finally have a version of RPG Maker VX8 that we can extend to whatever resolution we want, and it switches and it increases depending on whoever is playing it. If you get a bigger screen, it stays bigger. If you if you have a smaller screen, it just how do you say it? It shrinks it to fit your screen without messing up with the proportions. It's just we've been doing a lot of amazing work on VX8, but MV we are so good at creating tile sets right now and creating our own assets that we can make up for the shortness of assets on MV. Basically, you will see on Journey Abroad is that basically it on VX8 we just had all the assets that we could possibly want. It was just available. We bought a lot of assets, so we're losing on that money. We created a lot of assets, we're losing all that money, and above all, we're losing all the time because we created so many assets and we created so many maps and we created so many scripts and whatnot for VX8, and we need to abandon it. But one of our biggest fears from when switching from VX8 to MV was mostly the lack of tile sets, and it was scarier at first because we couldn't make tile sets. We didn't have knowledge how to make tile sets, and like many other things, while developing, I learned how to create tile sets and edit other people's tile sets. So it's really easy for me to make up for the lack of assets on MV, and you'll be able to see in Journey Abroad that it is no longer an issue, and most of our assets are just made by us. So we're kind of trailblazing again, yeah, trailblazing is always scary because you don't know. There's no safety net. You don't know. It's like going for a swim and not knowing if you'll actually see shore again. You know, it's a dark tunnel and you see no end to it. Trailblazing is always a fucking issue. It's scary, and when it's something that it's professional and it's something that so many people are waiting for it, like you don't have the type of time to just guess and try to like guess your way through shit. It's like you need to have some certainty. So that's why it was so scary to switch from VXAs to MV. Because honestly, like I know how much I knew how much we could do on VXAs, and MV in terms of like mapping and in terms of just the immersion and whatnot, it just wasn't looking good. It was honestly kind of scary, and there's still not a lot of projects on MV that I feel like the tile sets look really good. But I already know what I can do. I already created some maps, and I'm honestly happy with the transition. Now, the strongest point for me is the fact that I can actually see what I'm drawing, and the tile sets that I'm working on. So that's a big plus. But above all that, we have mobile support, we have web support. We can literally host our game online, and people can just access the website and play it directly from it. There's JavaScript plugin support. There's it plays way nicer with a lot of third party programs like launchers, like whatever. It has full mouse support. There's just so many upsides to RPG Maker MV, which we knew, and it was one of the reasons why we wanted to make the switch, is because we were aware of all the upsides. But the downside was that's cool and all if you can make a good game, but if you can't make a good game, if you don't find a JavaScripter, a JavaScript scripter, if you can't make tile sets, your game is going to be trash. So you'll be able to play trash on mobile, you'll be able to play trash online, you'll be able to play trash with a mouse. Obviously, the balance wasn't feeling right for us at least 2 years ago. So we were trying to delay our transition to MV. But eventually we made the transition. Now, for a long time, before we actually managed to make a fix for the show for RPG Maker VXAs, or make a fully working version of VXAs with higher resolution, I was actually considering switching the Shota patch to RPG Maker MV. And I know that a lot of people, this is one of those things where, in retrospective, we all know what's gonna happen. And 2 years ago, people can say, "Why didn't you just make it at MV back then?" We didn't have, nor anywhere close, enough knowledge to make what we're doing right now in MV. We didn't have enough knowledge to do it back then. It's pretty much that's it. I know that a lot of people are going to say, "Why don't you switch your game to RenP? Why don't you switch your game to Unity? Whatever." That's really cool for visual novels, but that's not what Fleeting Iris is. Despite people not even realizing all the nuances and all the choices that you make because they are so seamless. And that's something that really fucking annoys me, is that people make choices without even realizing they're making choices. So in their mind, they're not making choices. They're just playing a VN. When it's not even remotely true. Like Fleeting Iris keeps up with so many stats and so many decisions, and it tracks so many of your choices, and it was like the launching pad for a lot of future games from the Lancia Chronicles universe. But another reason was we never worked with those platforms. We know how to work with VXAs, and that's the reason why we were working with VXAs. And we didn't have the scripting knowledge or the map creating knowledge that we have today back then to make a seamless transition to MV. It will not be the best decision back then, and it certainly feels like the best decision right now. But yeah, it's really important to us, even though it's the last patch, which is it's sad. We're like a couple months away from dropping VXAs forever, and we finally we're able to work around the VXAs issues and be able to make probably the first professional game that will be able to be played on VXAs with any resolution. It's hilarious. We've been working at this for like 8 fucking years, 8 fucking years, and 2 months from dropping VXAs, we finally are able to make something that most people in the community were saying that wasn't possible. So yeah, there's that. It's one of those things where Destiny is fucking hilarious. Um, but yeah, we eventually want to start by switching Fleeting RZF to MV, and then eventually we want to switch the normal Fleeting Iris to MV as well. The the Fleeting Iris MV remaster will pretty much be a fusion of Fleeting Iris and Fleeting Iris ZF, but we will change a lot of dialogue. We will make the start of the game a lot less painful, so to speak, and we will also increase the resolution of the game. Our goal is to initially increase the resolution of the game to 1280 by something something, which is like 300% bigger.
It's big.
It's big. So yeah, our goal is to make a Fleeting Iris remaster with a higher resolution. The dialogues are going to be a lot better. All the assets are going to be high definition, high quality, and yeah, we've been working on that. We already have most of the assets, and yeah, it's definitely something that we want to release, but we won't be actively working on it or releasing it like every X months. It's something that we're going to work behind the scenes, and we will release patches as we see fit. Probably the first patch will have the first few days of going to Melvin Pub and whatnot, and yeah, we're going to rework a lot of things from the menus to the soundtrack to whatever. So I guess this is goodbye RPG Maker VXAs, but at least the shoulder patch will be able to be played by everyone, regardless of which operative system you have, and regardless whatever resolution you want to play at. So that's going to be a big upside. Um, and now for the bad news. Uh, as if all the health issues that our team is going through right now, directly and indirectly, were bad enough. The CG team for Fleeting Iris received some news at the beginning of this month, where they will have to leave their house. So basically, Muku and Tiger Lila got evicted, and the reason why they got evicted is because apparently in the Philippines, if you own a house and if you want people out of the house, you can basically just say, "I want the house for myself." You have to leave. And apparently, and this is as much as I much information I got, and as much as information as I feel comfortable sharing with everyone. Basically, their landlord wanted the house for his father or whatever the fuck it was. So with almost no previous warning, I think they were told, you have 1 week to leave. So basically, a couple weeks ago, the CG team had to instantly stop working on the game, and right now they're going through a situation where they're finding a house, and they are going to slowly make their way over there, but not too slow because they only have so much time to move, and this is probably. I'm not gonna say cause a delay on Christmas, but it's probably going to affect the quality of the Christmas patch a lot. This is not something that we could have predicted. And honestly, if this was something that happened in Portugal or any country where we could legally fight it, it's probably what we would have done. But I honestly don't understand how the laws work in the Philippines, and I know that there's a lot of stuff that it's not quite up to par with the legality of first world countries. And it's just the reality. Obviously, we feel like shit for the CG team. No one will like to get evicted from their house, especially with like a 1 week notice. And right now we're just being we're just trying to be patient, and we're trying to stay on their side as they go through this very shitty process. So what we're doing right now is, or what we're gonna do is, our initial goal was to release the Christmas patch on the 20th of December, and that's what we're gonna do. Is it going to be the full patch? Probably not. I mean, the CG team sometimes disappears for like 4 or 5 days. They just don't reply because they're busy with real life and you know, real life shit, which is honestly right now a lot more important than releasing a Christmas patch. Um, but we know we wanted to start 2023 instantly working on Bloodlust and instantly working on Journey Abroad, but we're not going to do that. Um, on December 20, we will release whatever we have available for the Christmas patch. We're going to create like an intermission. If we have 2 scenes, if we have 3 scenes, whatever we have, we're going to release it by then. It's going to get a to be continued. And then January, we're going to finish the Christmas patch. We're going to make justice by the Christmas patch. Sadly, it won't be released fully on Christmas. On one hand, it makes us feel like shit because obviously we want to deliver everything that we can in the best possible quality to our fans. But right now, the thing we care about the most is that the CG team is fine and that they go through this situation and they come out stronger on the other side. And then, you know, it sucks, man. I can't even imagine just being told that I have to leave my house and I have like a week to do it. They almost didn't have time to look for a house. They didn't have time to like do market research, try to get a better house. It was just it was fucking ass, dude. I don't understand like how is that even legal and whatnot. But all we got is we just have to stay strong and stay and, you know, just give them our full support right now, and that's the only thing that matters. As for the Christmas patch, we're going to do what we always did. We're going to work as hard as we can to deliver as much as we can. But right now, we just have to be complacent with the CG team, and whatever they can deliver, it's whatever they can deliver, and whatever they can, we're going to have to be patient. But this won't make us quit on the Christmas patch. We promised we were going to release a Christmas patch. This has been many years in the making, and the community decided to have a Christmas patch, so we're going to fucking have a Christmas patch. We'll just have to break it in two, and whatever we can do by December 20, we will release by December 20, and whatever we have to release in January, we're going to release in January. That's going to be it. Yeah. That's about it for the Christmas patch. And then in January, when the Christmas patch is over, we are going to start working on Bloodlust, and we are probably going to deliver the first patch of Journey Abroad, which we are working on, and we are just waiting for a few remaining assets from Scarlet. Scarlet had basically at the end of the summer, she had like a vacation month, and then she went on a trip, and then she had to like finish some comics for Halloween that she had already plans for. So basically, there was not a lot of work done on Journey Abroad at the end of the summer and in October. But we are still working hard on it, and we believe the first patch for both versions, the incest version and the regular version, is going to be pretty fucking sweet. So we are super excited to release that. As for the Shota patch, Isaac and I are still working hard on it. Man, we are so fucking excited for you guys to get it, because despite all the shit that we've been through while creating the patch and all the times we got blindsided for shit that wasn't, you know, game related. Like, real life really fucking hit us hard lately. The team hasn't been doing well, but we're trying to stay positive, and we're trying to focus on you know, the bigger picture. And yeah, man, like there's so many good things in the Shota patch, and we know you guys are going to love it. But obviously we said that our first release date was planned to be end of October, and we're already like mid-November. Obviously that stinks, but dude, we've been through so fucking much. You guys have no idea. And we honestly we don't want to bother anyone with details, and there's things that are personal and we don't feel like talking about. But you know, all I can promise you guys is that you will be able to see all the quality of of Evan Studios on this patch. Isaac was kind of surprised. I thought he already knew, but as we were working on the game, he was like, "This is by far the biggest patch we have ever worked on," and I was like, "This is not a patch, bro. This is a full game. This
Yes,
is
the shoulder patch isn't just the biggest patch we have ever made. Shoulder patch is much bigger, and I mean much bigger than any patch we have ever made. To the point that I told Stark, yo, when you planned this patch, you had no idea the amount of work time we would need to like complete it, and I honestly don't know what you were thinking when you said October. That was kinda dumb, honestly.
I listen. I had an idea how much work we had. I just didn't know that we were going to be fucked by life like so hard.
Yeah, but see, my point was that you absolutely didn't. The patch, dude, I really think that you have no idea the amount of dialogue you have to write still, dude. The patch
No,
is
again,
very very big.
no, listen. I understand that it's not a patch. It's a game. It's a full game.
It's a fucking game. I really think right now you don't know the amount of work it's ahead of you until you finish the patch. I honestly think that. No joke. No joke.
I 100% know. I 100% know. Like it's not that much dialogue. I already know what I'm gonna write, and the entire scenes are mostly finished.
Dude,
The thing is,
it's really big.
I understand that.
That's what you said, but it's really big.
I understand that. Title of your sex tape. I understand that. The problem is, the only thing that I didn't like when I make an estimate, I assume you will be able to work all those days until you release the thing, right? I'm not going to account for computers broken, health issues, family issues. I'm not going to account for all that because that's shit that might happen. But you're not going to account for that. You're not going to okay. So I feel like we can release in October, so I'm going to say December. Like no one does that. People make estimates based on estimates. People are not like, make an estimate and then shit happens, so I'm going to add like 2 months to it. Like no one does that. Right? But then people get so fixated on estimates, and that's why it annoys me. Since it was like a full game and whatnot, when it came to Fleeting Hours and releasing patches, I literally just stopped giving estimates. But since the shoulder patch was different, it was like a side game and whatever. I was like, okay, just this once, I'm gonna give it an estimate, right? And the moment I release an estimate, I almost like instantly regret it. For like the past 2 weeks, every day, in multiple languages, in multiple platforms, people ask us, when's the shoulder patch coming out? Any news about the shoulder patch? When is the shoulder patch coming out? My guy, if we knew already, we would have said it already. We're not going to surprise. There's a shoulder patch. Like, once we realize we're like a couple days away from it.
At this point, maybe we should.
What? Yeah.
Well, tell it's ready when it's ready. Hey guys, it's now. It's up. Go download it. Go play it. Then maybe that would be better.
But people have no idea how much work we're putting into this. And when people compare us with other teams, yeah, but remember those guys? They have worked like every 3 months, bro. Like, fuck you in that game. Like that game is fucking garbage. What do you want me to tell you? People are comparing us with games where you have basic ass maps with basic ass music with basic ass dialogues. The entire scenes have no dialogue. The art is trash. Like, you cannot compare two different types of work. That's like me grabbing reading that Rembrandt made the fucking painting and it took him 2 years to make, and then my 6-year-old nephew comes with the fucking stick figure painting. Haha, I made this in like 2 minutes. It's not the same shit. It's not the same thing. And people expect a certain quality from us, but then they expect us to deliver on the same pace as everyone else, which is ridiculous because in terms of size and in terms of quality, in terms of everything, there's literally no team out there, no team that can put up even mildly comparable numbers. Mildly comparable. There's just no teams whatsoever. We could be making what everyone else does, which is most people release like every 3-4 months they release a patch with like 4 scenes, and then they just add a lot of garbage and say, but look at this, we have 600 pictures or whatever made in DAS or whatever. Bro, it's literally the same picture 5 different angles. There you go, 5 pictures. Like, we don't do that. We don't do that. And people keep trying to compare us with other teams. It's not even fucking comparable. There's not a team that delivers the amount of work we do in the amount of time that we do. And people are trying to put us with some standards and then just lack to give examples. Like, we work in our own way. We give estimates because we believe we can meet those estimates somehow. And by the end of October, we didn't have the patch, which we will never have. We actually did a bunch of shit that we said this is going to delay the patch. When we said that we were going to add an extra scene, when we said that we're going to make all the changes where Ayami is getting her hair pulled and all that stuff, that's going to create delays. That's going to increase the size of the time it takes to work on the game. And not only that, there's a fuck ton of shit. Yeah, you guys have no idea. As we are working on the game, all the time we are constantly going, we can make this better. Switch this, make this, add another day where we have this dialogue, switch this, add this. We are constantly trying to improve the game. We are not just going to grab a game and try to set a deadline, release 3-4 scenes and try to make it like we are working. That's not us. That's never been us. We don't compare ourselves to any other team. And honestly, if we were, bro, don't even get me started. Because before, as a developer, I am a fan, just as many people out there. And if I start talking about all the teams that I followed and came up short, bro, I was literally following a guy. That 7 days ago, I think it was like 7 days ago, it was 2 years since his last patch. I'm not even fucking kidding. There was a guy that I was following that I think it was like November 14 or whatever. It's been 2 years since his last patch. Last patch. I'm not talking his game. He's not working on a game. 2 years since his last patch. He's going to release a patch with like 4 or 5 scenes. And it's going to be 2 years. I'm following Lily of the Valley because I started supporting them since God knows when. They haven't released a patch. It's going to take like 4 or 5 scenes. A patch since March, right? But I know, okay, this is how much they work. They haven't been lying to anyone lately. I mean, they kind of have, but I know, like, at this point, it's like, it doesn't matter what they say. I know how much they work, and I know how much they can deliver. And they're going to release a patch, or they've released the patch yesterday or whatever it was, but it's been since March, and they're going to release a patch with 5 scenes. But I understand that's them. I'm not going to compare them to anyone. There's a lot of people that say, look at this, we have like 500 new layers and whatever, and they make a patch that is like 5 minutes long. And it's exciting infection. I was following that game because I was cool with what's his name, Deep Sleep. And I was following his game, and I was like, bro, you're like releasing like 10 minutes of gameplay every 4 months, bro. Like, okay, people support that, that's cool, but that's not for me. That's literally not, like, one of the guys that is working more as of late, and I gotta shout him out. He's a Brazilian guy, which is one of the reasons why we hooked up, because we speak the same language. I mean, most of the times. Yeah, there's a new game called Laura. I don't know the full name of the game. Laura Lustful something. Yeah, no, ban this bitch. How the fuck do I ban this bitch? Put user on timeout. Buy a girl's X4Z. Get the fuck out of here. I timed out. I know how to ban, but I gotta ban this. So basically, there's a guy called Dark Anu. Is working on Laura's Lustful something Lustful. I don't know, man. It's Laura Lustful. I just call it Laura, and he's one of the hardest workers right now. Like, if we're going to compare like 3D games or whatever, and working on NTR games, I'm probably gonna go for him. But there's so many other games that are making a lot more money and they have a lot more visibility than Laura. Even though this guy is working a lot harder and honestly putting up together a better game than any of those games. But Nowadays, everything is about cloud. Everything is about connections and and just doing the crossovers, then the crossover promotions and whatever on Twitter and whatever. I've already said why I don't do that. I don't want to grab any of those games where people have been, release a patch like every year, and suggest that to my patrons. I'm not gonna do that. But I understand that everyone is in their lane. Everyone is in their lane. Everyone is in their lane. Not everyone is NLT team. Not everyone is the guy from Karen's Prison. Like, I know a lot of people are going crazy about Karen's Prison, but if I say that since March the only thing they did was the gym update, and most people thought it was underwhelming, bro. Like, have you seen their game? Other than the whole battle system and whatever, like, the game is not that big. There's not a lot of options. The gameplay is really good, but they are them, and there's a lot of people that love their game, and Ram Terry is Ram Terry, NLT is NLT, PNP is PNP, Renero is Renero. There's all these people, like, we can't compare them. But when people say, you guys, when an author gives an estimated release for the game, and you guys are releasing, like, it's been 7 months since your big patch, which there was a lot of shit that we released meanwhile. People just, I don't understand how people forget that we completely reworked Fleeting Ares, and we completely reworked the world map, and we completely reworked the game so that you can go back and replay all the scenes.
That shit took so much work. God,
people have no fucking idea how many hours of work goes into that, because people think our game is a fucking VN, which is not. That took so many hours of work that people have no fucking idea. But even so, we haven't released a patch with, like, anti-scenes for 7 months. Yeah, but when people compare us to other teams that release every 5 months, they release 4 scenes. We're releasing a game. Our last patch was like in March. We are releasing a full game with 30 something scenes. 30 something. We're not in the same league. It's not the same lane. It's not the same deal. It's not even close to the same deal. Our maps don't have the same amount of detail. Our music is not the same. Our detail is not the same. The length of our dialogues are not the same. The dialogue in Tysons is not the same because most of those games just don't have dialogue. It's like, move to this position. Oh yeah, what a huge cock. Move to that position. Oh yeah, I can't believe I'm doing this to your son. Do you want to come in my face or in my tits? That's it. It's not the same. So when people compare us to other teams, and you look at our game and what we've released in 8 years, with the funds that we had, in the conditions that we had, most of us are old. Everyone in this team is over 30. Some of us are parents. And they're comparing us to other teams. It's like, bro, where have you been the last 8 years? What are you who are you comparing us to? Have you been paying attention? Because it doesn't seem like it. Like, who the fuck has released a game that has over 300 unique anti-scenes? 300. Bro, it takes longer. The guys from Kagura patch, the Kagura games told us it takes longer to translate your fucking patch than it takes to translate other people's full games. This is why the patch ain't out on Steam. Because their translator says your patch is bigger. This fucking patch that he sent me in June is bigger than most games I've ever translated from start to finish. And people still want to compare the amount of work we fucking put on to make Fleeting Ares the game that it is. Yeah, bro, listen. Myself, I want to make a gameplay video where I play the version that Advin has sent me from Fleeting Ares from like 5 years ago. Because I started playing that. I literally want to like facepalm myself. I'll bet it was. So yeah, there are some points of Fleeting Ares that are rough around the edges, and definitely I want when I remaster Fleeting Ares on MV, I want to rework on all that. But don't for a second even compare us to any team out there. It's like people haven't been aware of how much work we've put in terms of drawings, in terms of dialogue, in terms of go check our bro. This is why I want people that have some knowledge of RPG Maker, some knowledge, open our game as a project, go check our scripts, and have a nice day. That's all. That's all I gotta say. Go check the amount of work there is in our games. Like, our game got to a point where our game has something like 200,000 lines of dialogue. 200,000 lines of dialogue. It was, last time we checked, it was like over 17 million lines of dialogue. 17 million words. 17 million words. You know, even if you take a second to write every word, which you don't, you also have to think about what you're gonna write. You gotta come up with a story, whatever. But even if it took you 1 second to write every word, it's 17 million seconds. That's how much work is in the game. Not to mention all the shit that you scrapped and came back with. And I told Isaac this a million times. One thing that hurts is that people will never be able to see the amount of work we put into stuff that will never make it to the game. The amount of stuff that we worked on and we were like, this is not good enough, and we scrapped. Most of the maps you see nowadays in the game, it has like 3-4 iterations of that map. That map has been made, deleted, remade, deleted, remade like 3-4 times. So right now everybody's talking about how long it's taking to make the Shota patch. We'll see what people say when the Shota patch comes out. Because the bestiality patch, I listen, I took the loss on that when I said all the time, I was like, I never said I'm proud of this, you guys are going to enjoy it. We had 1 month to work on that. And even though we only had 1 month to work on that patch, I was always like, oh man, this could have been a lot better. And I've always assumed that. I always owned it. When the Shota patch comes out, literally the full game, bigger than most games that you've ever played for RPG Maker. When the Shota patch comes out, I don't even know why I call it Shota patch, because it's literally a Shota game. But when Fleeting Hours, the Shota patch comes out, we will talk then.
I'll throw a fucking party that day. Fuck. I'm so tired of working on this patch, man. You have no idea.
This patch is fucking amazing. That's all I can say. And for those that know us, nice. I'm ranting a little bit, but I'm not ranting to I'm not ranting to our fans. I'm not ranting to our followers, because I know our followers know what's up. I'm just putting in perspective for people that when people talk trash, just point them to this podcast. Just point them to this podcast. In sheer numbers, I could show you how we work so much fucking hard, and then quality is subjective. Quality is subjective, but in sheer numbers, I can tell you we work so much harder than whoever this fucking team is, and I can literally show you on paper. I can show you visually. This is how much more work we put than any other team out there. Quality is subjective, but when we release the Shota patch, which will be soon-ish, team, bro, like, listen, we are not trying to rush anything. We are trying to make sure that it's impeccable coming out the gate. We don't want to go back and fix whatever bugs or fix whatever line of dialogue, or I don't like this scene, or I don't like this. It's going to be impeccable out the gate. When you guys play the Shota patch, then if you don't like it and you're like, I can't believe you spent these many months working on this garbage, then I'll take your criticism. But wait until the patch is out, and then we'll talk about it. And you'll be able to see if you see where the work is put on, or if you don't see where the work is put on. And then if people want to keep following us, it's you know, we appreciate it. And if you don't want to keep following us, it's in your right. You should be able to make that judgment, and hopefully you are all able to make that judgment. But wait until the patch comes out, because honestly, regardless if it's Shota or not, or whatever it is, we have never worked on something with so much quality as this patch by far. This patch is top quality from bottom to top. Everything from the dialogues, from the maps, from the sprites, from all the menus that we made,
all the new maps were like completely custom made by you, like in parallax mapping, and that's really something. They all look absolutely unique, like all of them, all of the new maps.
yeah, but that's something that I wish I knew how to do back when I started making Fleeting
Yeah,
Arrows.
sure.
And that's like people it's easy to point out why is this part of the game not as good as this part of the game. Because first of all, Fleeting Arrows, for those of you that don't know, it's a lot of patches. It's a lot of patches, bro. Like I'm not even kidding, there might be a part somewhere, like especially in Melvin's Route, you noticed that. But there might be a part in Melvin's Route, like 20 minutes into the game, that is newer than something that was worked like 40 years into the game.
Yes.
And that you play like 15 hours into the game. Because we kept patching and going back and remaking scenes and redrawing scenes and redrawing the dialogue and whatnot. So Fleeting Hour is patchy. It just feels patchy. Like the quality of the game is like a roller coaster. Honestly, to me personally, that I am the one who created it, Fleeting Hours feels like a roller coaster in terms of quality. It's a rough game sometimes, but that's why I want to remaster it, because I want to make sure that the quality of the game is consistent throughout the whole game.
Looks like after working 8 years on something, we improved on it. We're new.
But that's exactly what it is. Like now I have the quality to be able to make the whole game with consistent quality. Back then, Fleeting Iris was a practice game. I was improving the whole time.
Yes.
The whole team was improving the whole time.
Yes.
Clearly, the CG team was improving. Clearly, our scripters were improving. We got different people on the team.
The code for the first days looks like absolute garbage to me now. Like absolute garbage. You have no idea.
Bro, I play the game. Everything that I wrote and everything that I like. When I play Advin's version, I look at the game. It's like, oh my god, this was garbage. Why did people like it? Because the game came out 8 years ago.
Yes.
That's why people liked it, because it was era appropriate. But I feel like Fleeting Hours aged well, but it's definitely like in need of a remaster, because I still feel like with the right touch-ups here and there, Fleeting Hours is a masterpiece and definitely deserves a remaster. In terms of hentai games, for me, and considering that we have almost all the assets that we need, almost, because some of the scenes were already drawn in like lower quality, and we will have to redraw a few scenes, not a lot, let's say like a dozen. We have already started working on most of the busts. A lot of the scripts and whatever just need a few numbers adjusted, and basically our knowledge in everything from Photoshop to like map creating and map editing and whatnot is not even on the same league. So we will see. Another thing that we also considered is remake Fleeting Iris on VX6 with the new system, but with higher resolution. That might also be an option. And if we do that, it's going to be a lot easier to
Yes.
to just
And you know, it wouldn't take like 50 years to do so.
yeah,
There's
it wouldn't take 50 years to do. So this is the only decision that we're making right now, is if we're going to remaster Fleeting Iris on MV, or if we're going to remaster on the new system with higher resolution, higher quality, and just overall better assets, remade dialogues, just make the stats work from the start, and basically just remake the game. But it will definitely feel like a completely different game. We will rework most of the assets, and the quality will be consistent from start to finish. But that's for another day. The only thing that we're focused on right now is the Shota patch. We're working as hard as we can on it. Honestly, I am beyond proud of what we achieved, and I am beyond proud of the quality of the content that you guys are going to get. Our CGT, our VIP. The people on our VIP lounge have already tried the new Fleeting RZF. They have tried most of the routes that we have there in it. No one crashed. No one is having issues. People are being able to full screen it and whatnot. And then you also have the aid of Magpie to do it. And honestly, if they looked in the pictures folder and whatever, they already know the quality of the stuff that is going to come out.
But not all, because I only add pictures to the folder when I need them. So
yeah,
they haven't seen everything yet.
No, they haven't seen even close to anything. But yeah, the only thing that I want to say is, I know that you guys are impatient. I understand you. I feel you. But I promise you, it's going to be worth the wait. And then after you guys play the patch, for how long it takes you to play the patch, because I promise it's going to take a long time, you guys can decide if it was worth the wait or not. As for the Christmas patch, it is what it is. Right now, we just hope that the CG team um, just gets their situation sorted really soon, and we are hoping the best for them. Uh, and yeah, for the Christmas patch, this is because people were we were discussing this internally and with some of our closest fans, and people were just saying, bro, just cut the Christmas patch, we'll release it later, people will understand. uh there was also the oh, just make a patch with like a couple scenes and whatnot, which it also didn't feel appealing. So I know it's not the best outcome to break the patch in two. I understand it. I understand, and I understand if people are like disappointed and whatnot. I honestly understand, but um, ultimately we decided to just break the patch in two. We'll let the CG team work on whatever they can once they get their stuff sorted. We'll let them work on whatever they can by December 20 ish. Hopefully we can release like 3-4 scenes at least, and then in January we're going to release the last scenes, because we wanted to have a scene for all of the major characters in the game. There's a lot of plot twists in the Christmas patch, which we liked a lot. So hopefully we'll have a pretty decent first part this Christmas, and then you know beginning of January we'll have the rest of the scenes. But that is all for the news, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. I hope I didn't rant too much. And I hope all the questions that you guys had um, in terms of stuff that you wanted to ask us, or in terms of stuff that you wanted to know, uh, that you wanted to know about the game. I hope I answered most of the questions. If you guys still have any questions, do feel free to post it on the chat right now, and I'll try to answer as most as I can. But other than that, I just hope that you guys feel updated. And yeah, hopefully tomorrow we can try the Mac version. I don't know how we're gonna do it, since none of us has a Linux, but we are.
Maybe some of our supporters do so.
Yeah, there's that. If someone has Linux, I don't think so. I'm gonna ask on Discord as well. But if someone has Linux and you guys want to try a version of Linux RZF that runs on Linux or should run on Linux, please send us a message. We will definitely appreciate some guinea pigs. But yeah, I definitely hope that the quality of the Shota patch when it comes out and all the good news makes up for all the bad news. It hasn't been easy for us this year, but I know that you guys are understanding that we have quality fans, so I'm not too worried about it. It's just life. It happens sometimes, and it's trash. And I can honestly say that you guys have been with us throughout some of our darkest days, and so I know you guys will be understanding now. And I think that everyone that follows us knows how appreciative we are of your support, and and the quality of this community, which I keep bragging about. So it is what it is. It hasn't been easy, but we hope 2023 will be a lot brighter than this year was. It just life happens sometimes.
Yes.
I mean, life happens all the times, but sometimes it's just like a kick in the nuts. Anyway, that's all from me for today. We were thinking that releasing weekly podcasts might be, we have nothing to talk about if we talk about every week. But we're going to try and release a few reviews in between, and release a podcast like every 2 weeks, and we'll try to keep that system. It's been like 2 weeks since our last podcast, so it's not that late. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you had a question and it didn't get answered to you, do feel free to post it on Discord, and we will try our best to answer to all your questions. But that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and I wish you all a rest of a 22 very positive with a lot of soda and a lot of health, which is the most important thing. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
「君の